Hi aviation lovers, you're on a Jetstream Ginger channel where we explore the skies, share aviation insights, and dive deep into the reality of a cabin crew life. Today we are shining the spotlights on Etihad Airways, one of the most respectable airlines in the Middle East. Etihad has a stellar reputation, but what it's really like to work there as a cabin crew? Are the perks as glamorous as they seem, or challenges outweighs its benefits? Today we will uncover the good, the bad, and the truth about being an Etihad cabin crew. So if you're ready, fasten your seatbelt, because we are flying right into it. If you're new here, I work as an Emirates flight attendant for 5 years, and back in 2019 I was successful with two airlines, Emirates and Qatar, and I decided to go for Emirates. Why is on my other video about Qatar Airways, but just one thing that I regret a bit is that I never tried on open day or assessment day of Etihad Airways. There were one assessment day of Etihad Airways when I decided that I want to work as a flight attendant, and unfortunately I missed it. I was working that day, so I never tried myself on Etihad Airways, but I have plenty of friends who work there. And to be fair, if we're gonna compare Etihad Airways to other Middle East airlines, I find it one of the best option, and I will explain you in this video why I think so. But we're gonna start with the history of the airlines, then what you need to do to become an Etihad Airways cabin crew, the perks of this job, of perks of being Etihad Airways cabin crew, and of course downside of the job and this specific company. So let's start with the history. Etihad Airways was established in 2003 and has since grown to become one of the most significant airlines in the world. Based in Abu Dhabi, the airline has a reputation of luxury, innovation, and connecting travelers to over 80 destinations globally. In 2025, Etihad plans to launch 10 new routes in a single day, making a historic milestone for the airline. The expansion is set to accommodate over 20 million passengers annually, solidifying Etihad's position as a leader in global aviation. With its growing fleet and continuous announcement, Etihad is on track to redefine air travel standards while maintaining its commitment to sustainability and excellence. While Etihad hasn't won as many Skytrax awards as their competitors, it's still super famous for its innovative products like the Residence 3-room suite in the sky. So this airline is definitely on the list of the top airlines, but what it takes to become an Etihad flight attendant. Here on the screen you can see the requirements of becoming an Etihad cabin crew, and I took it from the Etihad official website. They are quite similar to any other airlines, and I would even say that they are the same of any other Middle East airlines. Like, you should be at least 21 years old, be at least 160 centimeters, be fluent in English, both written and spoken, and of course no tattoos on the visible areas like your neck, face, hands, legs. Not like in Qatar, you cannot have it at all. You can have them on your back, for example, but not in the visible areas. As well, in these requirements you can see some interpersonal requirements, the flexibility, adaptability, and I would say that they're the same for any other airlines, even if they don't write it there, but they are looking for the people who are getting along well with others, who are super multicultural, multinational, easy to get along with anyone, literally. So if you're kind of the introvert who like to do the small talks with strangers, I would say that you have that personality that they're looking for. And don't forget that you need to pass the medical examination to become an Etihad cabin crew, so you should be medically fit to work as a flight attendant, because this job is super physically demanding. Now let's talk about the perks of being Etihad cabin crew, because in the reality Etihad has amazing perks which make it an attractive employer, and some of them are way better than Emirates, I would say. First of all, salary. As you know, cabin crew salary consists of the three parts, which is basic salary, flight hours, and allowances from your layovers. The basic salary of, like a starting salary of Etihad cabin crew is 3,000 dirhams, and flight hours is 58 dirhams per one flight hours. So it depends how many flights you have, how many flight hours you have per month, and which destination are you flying to. You can make from 9 to 12, 13,000 per month as your starting salary in economy class. As well, take into consideration that it's a tax-free salary because it's in the United Arab Emirates and all salaries there are tax-free. They also provide you with a company-provided accommodation, so there are buildings across Abu Dhabi and some nearby the airport, and I would say they're pretty much the same. They are quite new and modern, and for example in Emirates you can get top accommodation like in a city center and another accommodation somewhere in Sharjah, not in Sharjah but close to Sharjah. So they're not equal. In Etihad they're mostly equal, so it doesn't really matter which one you're gonna get. And also there are some 2-bedroom and 3-bedroom accommodation, which means that you're gonna be sharing it with 1 or 2 flatmates. And they're gonna cover the utilities bills there. Unlike other airlines, Etihad frequently offer 2-3 days layovers, so you have a lot of times to explore. As well, Emirates and Qatar do have those kind of layovers, a long one, but they are not that often, and mostly they're like in US, in Europe, I would say it's almost impossible to get a layover longer than 24 hours, but Etihad Airways do provide those kind of layovers where you can spend 2-3 days in destination. And my most favorite perk that Emirates doesn't provide at all, they do provide it only to purser, so the main cabin crew on board the aircraft, so you need to work at least, I don't know, 12, 13 years to get into that position. In Etihad, they do provide that specific perk starting from economy, and that's a business class ticket for you and your family. Yes, you heard me right, business class ticket with an amazing discount, and before that they even had it for the friends, and me and my husband traveled with Etihad in business class because our friend bought those tickets. They don't have it anymore, but they still have it for the employees. Like if you work as a cabin cruiser, you're gonna have discounts for business class in Etihad for you and for your immediate family, like your parents, your children, your partner, which is amazing. Also, it's not only business class ticket with Etihad Airways, but with some other airlines, and Emirates doesn't provide it at all, and they do have way better prices for the ID tickets, which means like discounted employees tickets. We once compared the prices with our friend from Etihad who showed the same ID travel discounted website. We compare it if we want to use that airlines as an Emirates employee and as an Etihad employee, and the prices were different and they were better for Etihad crew. As well, if you want to travel with your own airlines, in this case with Etihad Airways, the prices and discounts will be way better than Emirates. So salary wise, Emirates is better. They have better basic salary, they have better flight hours, but discounts wise, Etihad is way better. So those benefits sounds amazing, right? But to be fair, we need to compare it and balance it with the downside of this job and the airlines. That will be fair. No job is perfect, and Etihad comes with its fair shares of frustration. But the funny thing is that was one of the most difficult part for me to write about the downside of the Etihad, and I asked my friend if my friend can share what he doesn't like in this specific job, what he wanted to change, and the downside of working as an Etihad cabin crew. And funny part that it was difficult for him to describe what he doesn't really like as an Etihad cabin crew. And as an Emirates cabin crew, I could easily come up with something like I have 2 videos about Emirates strict policies, health policies, which is the frustrating part of Emirates, as well. In my video about the Qatar, I describe all the strict rules of the Qatar cabin crew and why people don't really want to work there because of those rules. But Etihad is one of the less strict airlines in the Middle East. If you're gonna compare it to the European or US airlines, they're gonna be strict compared to those airlines, like imagine uniform wise, what you can and cannot do in your uniform, how you should present yourself, what you should talk about, and like the service wise as well. But if we are comparing it to Middle East airlines, famous Middle East airlines, Etihad is a less strict airlines, and I'm gonna give you an example of the downside that my friend who worked there shared with me. We're gonna start with A320 flights. If you're the lucky one who get licensed with an Airbus 320, that means that your roster won't be as appealing as your colleagues who have larger licenses for other aircraft types, because Airbus 320 is a smaller aircraft compared to others. That's why Etihad put them on a shorter routes, mostly turnarounds, and there is a high chance that you're going to be doing turnarounds often and that you can do up to 4 flights per day, because on Emirates, for example, if you have a short flight, even Bahrain, which is like a 1-hour flight, you're going there, you're coming back, that's it, your day done. But if you're working as an Etihad cabin crew, you could be rostered up to 4 flights, for example, Bahrain and Kuwait. And that's quite exhausting. The flight is short itself, but you have a lot of the pre-departures and post-landing duties, so you're left with a minimum pay for that routes, because it's turnaround, you are not staying on the layovers and you're doing a lot of the ground duties. So that's one of the reasons why people could complain, like Etihad crew could complain, because it's not equal. On Emirates, your roster for all aircraft type they have. On Etihad, it's randomly choose if you're going to be rostered for A320 or not. So rosters of cabin crews varies, depends of what kind of the aircraft you get, what license you have. The second one is the salary. I know I put salary on the benefits of these airlines and this specific job, but I put it there because of the salary itself. Like, it's a tax-free salary, it's quite high comparing to other airlines worldwide. But if you're gonna compare it to other airlines in the Middle East like Qatar and Emirates, the salary will be less because it's basic salary and the flight hours is lower, so you will make more money with Emirates, that's for sure. But it depends what is your goal, what you want to do. If you want to save a lot of money, yeah, I would say Emirates is better. But if you want to travel the world, enjoy, and not to be in that toxic environment as Emirates has or Qatar has, I'm gonna put the salary also in the downsides compared to other airlines. But at the same time, it just depends on your goal. If you what is your goal in this specific airlines with this specific job, if you want to travel the world or you want to save money, if you want to have an airlines with less strict rules, or the airlines that pay you more but has a lot of strict rules. So salary is also a downside, but still it's a good salary. Downside only comparing to Emirates and Qatar. Now we're gonna talk about the kiosk system, but first of all I need to answer the question, what is kiosk system? Basically, when you're going for the flight, you first of all need to pass through that kiosk system. This is a machine that will give you a random question about the aircraft type, safety and emergency procedures, security, medicals, and you need to answer it right. And that kiosk stress a lot of the flight attendants, and they are scared of it, and that's a downside. For example, on Emirates, we also had this kind of the question, but we had it in the briefing room and our seniors were asking us the question. We have like a book, Safe Talk, through which they were choosing the question. We already knew which question would it be. They were updating it every 2 months, and there was like a book with the question, so we kind of knew what we could be asked. And as well, if the real person asks you a question, they cannot help you like to tell you an answer, but you could communicate a bit, and they could even give you some kind of guess, so make it easier for you even with interpretation of the question, so you can answer it. When you're answering this question with a machine, which is a kiosk system of Etihad Airways, there is no way to someone to tell you what this question is about and give you some tips to answer the question. So if you failed, you failed. It's just a machine, and that's one of the downsides that the real Etihad crew told me. Also, I'm gonna mention the standbys, and on Emirates, standby duties are not that often. I think in 5 years I only had standby months twice, so basically I have 2 months with the standbys, and I didn't have much of the standby duties on my roster, like a regular roster. Only if I was removed for a flight and the flight were cancelled, then those my days of duty were turned to standby duty. On Etihad, they quite often has a standby duty, so that might be a downside for someone, because some people love to plan in advance. I mean, it's kind of difficult in general to plan in advance when you work as a flight attendant, but standby duty make it even harder, as you don't know when or if you're gonna go for a flight, so that might be a downside for someone. And that's all I want to say about the downsides. Oh my god, that sounds funny, because I'm the person maybe who is popular because I'm saying the downsides of the airlines and the flight attendant's job, but I will explain. First of all, Etihad is way smaller airlines than Emirates, for example, and Emirates was like Etihad maybe in early 2000s, and Etihad is like that right now. They have less staff, so they are more human. They don't think about you as a staff number. They do as well, because it's like a huge airline still, but they're more human as Emirates. They are not that strict with their health policies. They're not gonna call you when you call sick like once in 5 years, and they're gonna call you straight away to ask what's going on. Or they don't have such strict rules like curfews or minimum rest as Qatar. Still, they do have rules. They do have social media rules, like what you cannot post on your social media. Of course, you cannot dodge the company. They have an imagine uniform rules, like you need to maintain yourself, you need to go to work and you need to look the specific way, and you can take part of your uniform out when you're just staying on the street somewhere. Like, it's normal for US or European airlines when you're taking your jacket out, or some people even remove already their makeup halfway home, but it's not gonna happen with a Middle East airline. So they do have rules. They have quite strict rules for airlines on the other parts of the world, but if we're gonna talk about the Middle East airlines, they are less strict company. They have really nice travel perks. They have amazing business class ticket benefits. They have quite good salary, even we're gonna compare to other airlines like Middle East, the lowest, not the lowest, no. Middle East, the lowest from the top airlines, which is Golden Trio, Qatar, Etihad, Emirates. Yes, from these airlines it's the lowest, but still it's really nice. It's a tax-free, and accommodation provided, utilities provided, so you can save a lot if you're coming from other parts of the world. So what do you think about Etihad Airways in general? And tell me in a comment if you would like to work as an Etihad Airways cabin crew. What do you think about all the perks and challenges? And from the Golden Trio, Etihad, Emirates, Qatar, which airlines would you choose if you would ever consider to work as a flight attendant? I'm really curious if I'm gonna receive again the negative comments, the hate comments in my comment section that I'm dashing the companies, because I received a lot about the Emirates or the Qatar. But to be fair, I don't say negatively about the companies at all. I used to work for Emirates for 5 years, so that's pretty obvious that I actually like this job, and at some point in my life I found the perks of this job was way higher than the challenges. That's why I worked there for so long. But with this video I want to give you the real representation of the company, and if they have a strict rules, I'm saying it on my videos, so you can make a right choice. If you want to work as a flight attendant, you need to know about the downside of the job, you need to know about the downside of the company, so you can decide it if you want or not work for these airlines. Search, don't waste your time. If you agree with rules, you will be happy with the company. If you're not, you won't be, and you will resign shortly. That's why I'm making those videos. Alright, I said a lot already. If you like this kind of content, don't forget to like and subscribe to this channel, because it gives me motivation to do more of such videos, and I believe I see you soon. Bye!